Coming up next, I'm giving y'all this prison story about the guy I thought was the most gangster inmate I've ever encountered during my prison stay. Stay tuned to the Corner Prison Talk Show.
It's JS Corner from the prison story massacres. I be telling stories about the pushers and the traffickers, trying to keep the YNs away from the bandits. Don't eat the honey bun, don't drink the coke, don't become another victim or the butt of a joke. Don't close both eyes when you sleep or get choked. When you go to the mess hall, sit with your team, cause if you sit with some punk boy, you can get seen, then you can get dealt with. Prison justice like you never felt it. I be taking y'all back to stories of the helpless. That lava I spit, get your boys' stories melted. I spit about prison justice cause I dealt it. And you a real hater if you can't respect it. All that bullshit, yeah, I'm here to check that. Any confrontation, I'ma show up. Bet that. You a real hater, I'm here to address that. When it comes to storytelling, I'm the best at. You a real hater, I'm here to address that.
Oh man, he stabbed me. Oh, me too, he stabbed me. This dude crazy. Come on, let's go. Oh! What up? We are back. Who am I? Jersey Street Corner, and this is the Prison Talk Show, people. So let's get into it. Now, today I gotta talk about the most gangster inmate I've ever come across during my time in the prison systems. And this is between New Jersey, New York, and North Carolina. Now, if you ask me that question today, I would have to say I'm the gangster. Meaning I'm the guy that provides for his family. I'm the guy that's getting up every day and making things happen, paying these bills, making sure my children eat, and my family are striving. But if you would have asked me that question a long time ago when I was in prison, well, this guy that I'm going to introduce to y'all would have to be my answer. Now, as I was thinking of this question, who was the most gangster inmate I've come across? So many people popped into my memory. Different faces from different prisons, different jails, different lockup situations. I mean, I've met gang members and just regular guys that were just bad. And sometimes you meet fakes and sometimes you meet the real deal. Meaning, not everybody with a face full of tattoos is gangster. Not everybody that pulls out a blade or machete or, a bone crusher. Not all of them are gangster. Sometimes they do it and they pump fake. And pump faking in prison is the worst thing you could do. That's the easiest way to get your head beat in. Because once one person realizes you ain't doing nothing, that you soft as a teddy bear, once one person jumps at you and you don't jump back, oh, it's game on. Everybody gonna come at you. And if you gonna pump fake, you gonna have to back it up. Now, when you in prison, a lot of people stay away from gambling. Excuse me. COs definitely don't want you gambling on their shift. It's illegal. You're not supposed to be doing it at all. Why? I know y'all probably like, well, it's their own stuff, if they gambling for their commissary or whatever have you. Nah. In prison, it leads to drama. It leads to violence and pain. So, imagine gambling and you ass betting. You ain't got no commissary to bet. But you out there trying to win somebody else's money, ass betting. When they find out you ain't got the money to pay your debt, oh, things change. All types of things happen. There's all types of bad deals that come your way in the prison when you can't pay. And don't let you owe somebody that's a big dog. Oh, they not letting nothing slide. You slight a big dog, you might pay with your life. Now, the guy that I'm going to tell you about today, he was a big gambler. And that's how I met him. The guy's name was Big Beef. They called him BB for short. And, well, his reputation preceded him. He ain't care who you was, gang member, CEO, it didn't matter. He wanted all the beef. If you started it, he was damn sure going to finish it. And he wasn't going back down. He was going to have the last word. Now, dude could play his ass off as far as cards go. We'd be playing 21, gambling for hours. Now, I play a little 21. That's how I know dude. That's how I met BB. And I make sure, for damn sure, if I'm playing, I got what I'm supposed to have. Because I'm not going to get caught out there with them wolf tickets. Nah, I'm not. The consequences, I've seen it before. I've seen people get teeth knocked out. I call them chiclets. People get them chiclets knocked out from ass betting. So now, I've never beaten Big Beef at casino or 21. I've always lost a few soups here and there. And I know my limit. And that's the thing, people. When you in prison, you got to know your limit. You can't bet beyond your means. So if you say you got 10 soups, well, when you say all in, you better put your hand down and gracefully bow out if you lose. Because you go over that 10 soups, you don't know what could happen. You could become an indentured servant. What do that mean, Corner? That mean you might end up cleaning some dude's cell for a whole month. You might have to go in there and scrub his toilet. You might have to clean his underwear for a whole month. Yeah. You might have to give up your lunch and dinner tray for a whole month. Ass betting. And that's getting off light. And you still might get an ass whooping along with it just for show. Because they can't let the whole pod know that they're letting you get off so easy with paying the back. You lucky you don't lose your life. Now, Big Beef, he ain't play no games. If you gamble with him, you best to have his bread. He don't care. He got a life sentence, y'all. And I'm not even going to get into why he got a life sentence, but it was violence. Pretty much. He unalived somebody very violently. Now, this guy is in and out of the hole. We talking monster status. Big dude. One of those big linebacker dudes. Where if he's coming your direction, it was kind of like, how Ice Cube and Smokey tucked their jewels and their money when Debo was coming. Well, that's what it was when you seen this dude come down the block. If you had anything on you that you ain't want snatched, you best to hide it. Because if he even think that you holding out, it's going to be a beatdown. Now, I know y'all wonder how did this guy get away with so much goonery on the pod. I just told y'all he was huge, y'all. This guy, when he took his shirt off to work out, all you seen was like scars from stab wounds and slices and slashes on his back, on his chest. This guy been going to war for years. He been down since the early 80s. And he been staying in shape, y'all. This guy, he definitely goes down in my book as the most gangster inmate I've ever come across. Because this guy had no problem beating down a gang member and daring his gang to do something. I seen it happen with my own eyes. This guy beat down a Crip in the day room. And the only thing that happened was he went to lockup for a few months while they investigated. And old boy couldn't snitch. He couldn't say who did it. So they eventually let him out of the hole. Now, I don't know if y'all know anything about the hole in prison. When you go to the hole, you have no access to your commissary. You don't get those amenities. Can't order it. You can't bring whatever you got with you. Nah. It goes to a place called properties. And it sits there for however long you sit in the hole. And when you come out of the hole, you're supposed to get it back right away. This guy, Big Beef, I never seen nobody intimidate people the way he did. Even officers were scared shitless of him. The day they let Big Beef out of the hole, he already beefing. Fresh out, not even an hour. He riffing with the officers. Yo, when we gonna get my stuff? I need my stuff, man. I want my stuff. And they like, hey, listen, we're gonna try and get it as soon as possible. Just give us, nah, man, bump that. I ain't trying to hear all that, man. You want me to go sit around in here bored as hell all night? Nah, man, I need my stuff. I did my time. I want my stuff, man. Stop playing with me. He pushing up on the guards like he gonna do something to him or whatever. And the guard, he right away, he on the radio like, hey, is there any way that we can locate his stuff as soon as possible? Well, I don't want him to, be upset. That's exactly what he's relaying over the intercom, over the walkie-talkie. So they find his stuff. Now, I say that's gangster because you're intimidating officers. The officers know at any given moment, this lifer could just snap and snap your neck. Give you a two-piece, run all up in your jaw. He has no regard for human life. He will do anything he has to survive. They brought that man his commissary. Now, I told y'all he gambled, and he's good at it. So he got bags and bags of commissary coming back to his cell. And it wasn't the fact that he was going to be bored in the cell. He wanted his commissary so he can get back out there in that day room and start the gambling again. Because that's what he did, y'all. That's how he made his bread. That was his hustle. So he got all his stuff back. And I respected the hell out of that he made them go and get his stuff. Every bag. It took 3 officers with carts to wheel it down to him. Yeah. Big Beef ain't play. Now, he back out there on that table. And he out there winning, as usual. A couple of cats in the pod was a little upset to see him return because they already knew once he came back it was game over. He was going to be snatching all the commissary. And if anybody ain't like it, they had to challenge him, which nobody was. Well, Big Beef went on back to his cell, his commissary. Now, somebody owed him some money, and they was late on paying. This guy was another gang member, a Crip, and he just said, man, bump it. I ain't got it, and he gonna have to get it in blood. It is what it is. Like, I ain't scared of dude. Now, everybody in this pod more than likely had a banger, or a little poker or something to defend themselves. Some dudes had even deadlier weapons. Now, the rumor has it that Big Beef, so gangster, he go into fights with no weapon at all. He don't even pad his sides up to protect his vital organs from getting stabbed. He go in expecting to get those stabs and slashes. And well, they say that turns him into a bigger beast and pretty much gives him the fuel he need to rip you apart. And normally, y'all, BB, aka Big Beast, end up alive in somebody and walking away clean. Because he don't use no weapons. Now, this next part I'm going to tell y'all, this mainly made up my decision of why Big Beef was the most gangster inmate I've ever come across. Once he got wind of what the young Crip said, that he wasn't going to pay him, well, you already know how enraged this guy must have been. He ain't say too much. Few head nods or whatever. Got up from the table, card table, went to his cell, and who knows what he grabbed in that cell, but he turned around and came right back out and headed right to that young boy's cell. Now, while that's happening, his homeboys, his brothers, his Crips are watching, and they all getting in line. They all strapped up, and they start to following right behind Big Beef. And now, the proceedings that happened after that were just crazy, y'all. Now, I'm still down in the day room, and the angle, you pretty much in the middle of the day room where the card table is, you can look up and you can see both sides of the tier on the upper tier. And you can see most cells. Now, I could see them rush into that cell where the young boy was, right behind Big Beef. By the time they got in that cell, Big Beef was already poking old boy up with a bar, y'all. Yeah, he had a bone crusher. He done slid that thing through his face, split his face wide open. All the Crips pile in, pull the shanks out and start to jigging and jabbing. Now, I told y'all, Big Beef was a monster, y'all. This guy was in there putting in work. Now, they poking him up, y'all. They poking and poking. He putting in work with that bar, slicing and stabbing, breaking stuff. This joint break bones when it go through. If it hit the right spot, if your bone in the way, it's cracking. Simple as that. Now, he in there poking these jokers up. And now, the guard actually saw what was going on. They was in direct view of the booth. She hit the code real quick. Boom, lockdown, lockdown, lockdown. Everybody head to their cells. So I get up, head my ass right to my cell. I ain't want no parts of whatever was going on or was about to go on. All I know is from where I was, I could see a lot of blood, and it was a lot going on. A lot of noises, screams. Next thing you know, Turtle Squad pulling up. They got the shields, they got the mace, they got the rubber bullets on deck. They start spraying the hell out of Big Beef. I mean, his whole face covered in yellow goop or whatever that mace stuff is. He just wiping it out of his face. He ain't paying it no mind. Mind you, y'all, this man is leaking. He's poked up. The other Crips, they scurrying out. Some of them making it to their cell unnoticed. And some of them, they really need help. It's about 4 or 5 of them Crips laying down there in the day room, leaking out, and the guards just getting them up out of there, getting them to the infirmary right away, because they hurt so bad. Now, they spraying the hell out of Big Beef. It ain't affecting him. And I guess it took for him to realize where he was and what just happened. Maybe the adrenaline that was pumping through his body when he got poked up that kept him alive and fighting, maybe it started to wear off and he just dropped it. And luckily he dropped it before they start popping him with them rubber bullets. But he just dropped the bar and turned around, got on his knees, put his hands behind his back, and waited for them to come and cuff him up. Now, the amount of damage that this man did, he took on like 7 Crips on his own, y'all. Put in work. Every single one of them left that encounter bloody. Yeah, from one man. And he's still standing. So, That's why I think Big Beef had to be the most gangster inmate I've ever encountered. The only inmate I've ever seen that ain't scared of nothing. He ain't scared of inmates, COs. It don't matter what you come at him with. He not backing down. Jokers done came at him with huge blades, the size of your arm, and he'll still take you on. Yeah. Oh yeah, don't think they don't exist in prison, y'all. They breaking off the sides of beds, doors, whatever it is. They gonna use it against you as a weapon in prison. So that's why I think people just shouldn't gamble, y'all. Because gambling leads to the worst punishments in prison. Now, I told y'all I've been stabbed before in prison. And I'm not gonna lie, the first thing you think about, aside from the pain, is help. You need some help. Because you immediately panic. You don't know if they hit a vital organ, if it keeps bleeding. Is it gonna stop? Are you gonna get infected with something? Immediately the panic sets in and you looking for help. Not Big Beef. Big Beef had at least 10 stab wounds and he was still going, ready for action. And if CO hadn't hit that code, I think Big Beef probably would have took out a couple of more of those Crips easy. So, I don't know, man. Things just get out of hand in prison. And it's crazy because each one of those guys, a lot of them was lifers or had a lot of time, and they was all killers. But it's a difference. It's a difference in the gangster. Big Beef, he was in your face gangster. He was, I'm going to let you know I'm taking your stuff gangster. Not the sneaky gangster that's going to take it and wait for you to come accuse them to have a reason to fight. No. Big Beef will snatch something right from you if he wanted and tell you to do something about it. And if you ain't do nothing, well, he was going to keep coming back to snatch stuff from you probably every day. Now, I know y'all probably like, well, what you gonna do about it? What you gonna... Man, listen. He gonna at least respect the fact you willing to get that fade in before giving up your stuff. Now, don't get me wrong. You probably gonna end up still giving up your stuff. And I know y'all thinking like, well, damn, wasn't that pointless? No. Because guess what? He not gonna bother you the next day. You think this man wants to fight every day? Nah, he gotta reserve his energy for the big fish. So, he got you today, but being that you fought back, nah, I ain't messing with him tomorrow. I ain't got time for all that. They don't really want to fight. They just big and scary and hoping you gonna back down. Now, don't get me wrong. If you push the limit and take things a little too far, yeah, you could lose your life. So, you gotta pick and choose when you decide you're going to stand up. Because if you stand up at the wrong time, well, let's just put it this way. Disrespecting a prison bully or a prison gangster, OG, well, you could find yourself in a very, very bad situation. And a lot of YNs come into the prison not knowing this and decide, well, if they talking crazy to my OG, I'm going to steal off on them. I ain't going to let nobody, disrespect my peoples or whatever. That's what all them young boys thought they was doing. They thought they was running to protect their brother in that cell. And they all left out of there with life-threatening injuries. The ones that made it, I'm sure they're glad they did. But old boy that got that bar through the side of his face, that needed reconstructive surgery, well, I'm sure he wishes He never gambled at all. Listen, y'all, that's going to be it for this story. I hope you got something out of it. And oh yeah, we was in lockdown for about at least 40 days after that incident too. We felt it. We felt it with that one. Over a month in lockup for that one. Yeah. Listen, y'all, hit that like button. Share and subscribe to this channel. Let somebody know that you rocking with the channel. Let somebody know I got all that good info that they need to hear to keep them out of prison. If you got a YN that's acting like he trying to jump off the porch, well, send him on over here to the JSK talk show and let him hear some of these stories. Maybe, just maybe, we could stop him from preventing the crime. Alright, y'all, listen. That's going to be it for this story. I am your boy, Jersey Street Corner. This is the Jersey Street Corner Prison Talk Show, and I'm out.
You a real hater.